Hi and welcome back to the channel, guys. Now, from time to time when I go flying, people ask, how do you keep the models up in the air? How do you fly the models? So I just thought I'd make a quick video as to how we actually fly these models. Now, first thing, this is the transmitter. This is what is used by you to control the model, control the helicopter, control whatever you're using as your model, right? But in this case, we're talking about the helicopter. So this is the transmitter, integral part of the operation, right? Now, all the instructions I'm going to give to you now are with the premise that the helicopter tail is facing you. So the tail of the helicopter is to you. So right would be right, left would be left. That's the premise that we're making this video, right? So this is a transmitter. Now, I am right-handed, so my cyclic, which controls the main rotor disc on the top of the helicopter, is my right stick. The left stick controls the collective, changes the pitch of the blade, and also the speed at which it rotates, right? So we're starting with those premises. If you're left-handed, these sticks roles can be reversed. This stick can become this one and this one can become this one just by manipulating some screws, right? So left-handed people, you can fly. So let's go. So my left stick controls the collective, which changes the pitch of the blade. So as I increase pitch, the helicopter gets lifts off the ground. Now, I'm going on the premise that your helicopter is set up properly. So at center stick is 0 degrees, pitch on the blade. So as we go up 5 degrees, 6 degrees, the helicopter would start lifting off the ground, right? So that's the premise I'm going on. Your helicopter is set up correctly. So as you increase collective, pitch changes on the blade. Simultaneously, the pitch is changing. You have the speed of the blade changing as well. It's speeding up. It's increasing in speed. So as you push up on your collective, the pitch of the blade changes. The speed also increases. The helicopter gets lift and it lifts off the ground. I think that's as simple as I could explain it. Now, this stick also controls the tail rotor disc. Remember, the helicopter has two sets of rotors, one at the head, one at the tail. So this one controls the tail rotor. So if I want the nose of the helicopter to go right, I push this stick right. If I want the nose of the helicopter to go left, I push this stick left. Don't want to tie you up with all the other stuff that the stick can do, but basically, once the tail is facing to you, that is what the stick would do. You want the nose to go right, you push this right. You want the nose to go left, you push this left. I'll show that how that happens at the tail when we get to that side of the video. So that is what this stick does. Collective changes the pitch, increases speed, you get lift, helicopter lifts off, and you're up and running in the air. Also, you want the nose to go right, push the stick right. You want the nose to go left, push the stick left. That's what this left stick on my controls. Now the right stick, which is the cyclic, controls the main rotor disc at the top of the helicopter. Now, if I want to go forward, I move the stick forward, push the stick forward. If I want to come back, I pull the stick back. If I want to bank right, I push the stick right. If I want to bank left, I push the stick left. And that's basically what this stick does. Controls those movements: forward, back, bank right, bank left. Now, for you to fly the helicopter, these two sticks have to work in tandem. They have to work in coordination with each other. So look at it this way. If you're hovering center stick, just a little above center stick, you're hovering the helicopter and you push the nose right. all the helicopter will do is spin around on its axis. It will spin on the spot, right? If you bank right, just by banking right with this stick, the helicopter is going to roll right over, right? So that is what I'm saying, that your two fingers have to be working in tandem. So if you're hovering the chopper at middle stick on your collective, and you have forward momentum, you start flying forward, and you want to turn right, you have to push the nose right and also bank right to transition the turn smoothly. So your two fingers have to be working in tandem. I really hope that explains what I'm trying to say there, right? I'm trying to explain it, but I think that's as simple as I can explain it. So left stick controls collective, pitch, changes the pitch, helicopter lifts off the ground, and it also increases the speed of the blade, and you get lift, the helicopter lifts off. You want the nose to go right, right. You want the nose to go left, left. Now the right cyclic controls forward momentum, backward, bank right, bank left. Now, I think that's as basic as I can explain the transmitter. Now, there's a receiver on the model. So when you manipulate these sticks, move these sticks around, it translates that information from the transmitter to the receiver in the model. And then the receiver would tell the servos what to do. The inputs that you are putting in is going to tell the receiver what the servo should do in regard to the movement that you make with these controls. That's as basic as I think I can explain it. And I really hope that you guys understood what I just said. What I'll do now is that I'll bring the model into frame and explain to you and show you what these inputs do in relation to what happens on the helicopter. So when we make these input, what do they relate to on the model? Okay, folks, now that we have the helicopter in frame, just want to point out a few things up front. Up front here, we have the electronic speed controller. This is the ESC, and this controls the speed at which the blade spins. This is the motor, which turns the blades, right? The motor is attached to a belt below here that attached to a gear that turns these blades. We have 1, 2, 3 servos. Now these servos control what the helicopter does with regards to movement, forward, side, but bank left, bank right, forward movement, backward movement. These servos are what controls those surfaces, right? There's another servo in the back here that controls the tail rotor. This rod, it's connected to the tail, and it controls the rotor at the back. I'll show you that in a little bit. This is the flight controller, or the receiver. So this is the transmitter. This transmits the inputs that you put in on your sticks to the receiver, and this receives the signal from the transmitter and then sends it out to the servos, telling them what you want the helicopter to do. You know, that would transmit your finger movements to the movement of the chopper. Just want you to get that out in the front, right? So remember, last time I said this stick controls the up and down of the chopper. Up, down, right? If you look at this blade grip here, now this is the blade. If you look at the grip here, when I push up on the collective, you see the blade goes up. So what it's doing is changing the pitch of the blade to give the helicopter lift, so it can lift off the ground, right? And as I said before, simultaneously, while giving lift, the speed controller is telling the motor to speed up. I need some more speed so I could lift, right? That is as simple as I can explain that. So as you come up on your collective, on your left stick, the pitch of the blade changes. Also, the ESC tells the motor to speed up, increase speed on the blade, and the helicopter lifts off. That's as simple as I can put it over. Now, if you notice, when I move this stick up and down, these servos move in tandem, telling the blade what to do. Up, they all go up. Down, they all come down. And that is as simple as the up and down of the helicopter goes. Now, as I said before, this also controls the tail. But I'll bring the tail into frame and show you how that works in a little bit. Now, the cyclic, which is this, as I said before, bank right, bank left, forward, back. If you look now at the servos and the inputs that I put in, look at what happens. When I go forward, this back one pushes up, and the front ones come down, and the helicopter would go forward, fly forward. In reverse, I pull down, the back one comes down, the boat at the front goes up, and the helicopter would go back this way. Now, if I want to bank right, when I bank right, look at this servo. It comes down, and the other one comes up, pushing the blades this way. If I want to bank left, this one comes up, the other one goes down, and the helicopter banks left and goes that way. Right? So that's simple. That's as simple as I can put it. So your two hands are working in tandem to fly. So I give it, push the stick up, the collective goes up, the blade changes pitch. Look at it good, the blade changes pitch, also increases in speed, and I move the stick forward and the helicopter goes forward. See, the servos go up, these come down. I want to bank right, I bank right. While moving forward, you see, while moving forward, this is up, I bank right, and this one comes down. So all this process happening at the same time, because this is a disc, and this disc is spinning, so it's happening at the same time to keep the helicopter in the air. So I really hope this helps. This is as easy and as simple as I think that I could explain it. Right? One more time. Collective, pitch changes on the blade, also increases speed, helicopter lifts off the ground and goes up in the air. I move the cyclic forward, the elevator servo goes up, the two in the front come down, the helicopter moves forward. Back, same thing in reverse. Elevator comes down, two in the front goes up. I want to bank right, this servo goes down, bank left, that servo goes down. Aileron and pitch servos, right? And that's basically what's happening up at this main rotor disc. I'll turn the model around, bring the tail into frame and show you what happens at the tail. So that's basically what happens when you're flying the chopper. Your inputs come from the transmitter into your receiver, fly-barless controller, and it tells the servos how to move your blades for you to fly. That's as simple as I think I can explain it. So let me move the model around again, get the tail into frame, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, now I have the tail in frame, right? Now if you remember, I told you that there's a servo at the bottom here that controls the tail rotor. Now this is the tail rotor, right? This is the tail rotor with the tail blades. This servo, which controls the movement of this tail blade. There's a rod attached to the servo that runs all the way down. That's attached to the mechanism that the grips that hold the blades, that manipulate them, that moves them. So remember, this is the collective up and down, speed, pitch, right? Increase speed, increase pitch, and it also controls the tail rotor. Now if you look at the tail rotor here, when I give it right, you will see the tail, it moves. I don't know if you could see that, right? Hope you're seeing that clearly. I don't want to get technical as to what side it goes and that kind of thing. That is going to happen in setup, because if you get it wrong, when you turn the nose right, it's going to go left, right? So you have to get those things right in the setup. But basically what I'm trying to say now is that when I move the nose right, the tail rotor moves, the blade pitches in one direction so that the nose of the helicopter would spin right. When I move it left, the blades will pitch in the next direction so that the nose of the helicopter turns left. So if you look carefully, you will see every time I move it, the rod that's connected to the servo here, just as the servo is up top, move the main blade up top, move this blade on top, the servo in the bottom here moves this blade in the back. So as I move it left and right, the rod moves and the rod sends the signal to the tail to move in tandem of what you want the helicopter to do, right? And that's basically how the helicopter flies. I showed you the transmitter, how that works. What that does, by putting the inputs in, increase pitch, increase speed, helicopter goes up, back down. You want to move the nose to the right, the tail blades dig into one side, it moves to the right. You move it the other way, the tail blades would dig into the other way, and it moves the chopper right or left. You want to bank right, you want to bank left, you want to move forward, move back. Those are the basic inputs of the transmitter. Sends those signals to the receiver, and then the receiver sends the signal out to the servos that I want to bank right, I want to go forward, I want to turn the tail left, which pushes the nose right, I want to increase speed, I want to decrease speed. Transmitter does all of that. So your fingers are working in tandem at all times to keep the chopper airborne. So I really hope that this helps for the questions that people are asking, that how do we fly these models. I just wanted to make a quick video to explain. So I really hope that you understand and it was clear enough. Tell me in the comments if there's any challenge, and I can do another video to try to make it a lot clearer. So thanks again for looking, and have a great day.